Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2 and the conclusion of this replay. Siege tanks and Marauders now trying to come in and trying to reinforce this position. This is just a really bad position for Willies to even try to move into. Moving in with such a small army is just sacrificing himself in terms of this one particular fight. Marines now once again moving back out. I should probably be getting some medevacs as well. Medevacs to try to heal up a lot of these Marines. Marines taking a lot of damage. Zelnaga Watchtower is activated on one side and with a proxy pylon on that high ground as well. Once again going to try to move in and try to take down this natural expansion against Willy. Siege tanks now trying to once again move back in. We have two siege tanks, one already in siege mode, another without. Those sentries trying to take down, trying to push against these units, and now Disruptors trying to get as many force fields as they can, but unfortunately we are going to be unable to push out and take down that last siege tank using that Guardian Shield, and we're going to be able to protect ourselves against those roaches, protecting ourselves from 2 damage, more Guardian Shields being used, and those roaches unable to really get around and try to deal any damage. So going to try to take down this one particular expansion, but it does not look like it's going to work out. But the strategy is changing as I now have a group of 6 Banshees now moving out, just trying to keep them on their toes, trying to keep this pressure up as much as possible. And with those Banshees now moving in, these Banshees are going to be able to just really disrupt the economy very easily. Going to take down that Queen getting taken down so quickly, now trying to take down the economy on that backside. Take that, these drones just don't stand a chance as those Banshees are dealing 12 times 24 damage each, and they are being able to fire at a very high rate. More units now coming in, some Marauders coming in, and also a single Raven, but that single Raven's not going to really be able to do much. And that single turret now being dropped into play, now going to go ahead and move those Banshees to the back, as I realize that Raven does not have any real way to attack me. Since he dropped that auto turret, I can just move away from that auto turret. Now we have a Gifted coming in trying to pick down these drones. Those drones getting picked down fairly easily. Once again, going to move in with these Banshees. Banshees going to try to go ahead and take down this natural expansion over here. And just constantly using movement on my army in order to try to disrupt. Now getting 2 additional Banshees as well. Gonna go ahead and just take down some of these SCVs. SCVs now getting taken down. So you can go ahead and see their worker count. Worker count of really small is just going down, just one after another, taking down as many of those SCVs as I can. Gonna try to go ahead and take down this command center as well. Gifted, my partner, does in fact have some sentries, or sorry, some stalkers in the middle of the map in order to try to protect a little bit further. Coming back over here, Willy is now trying to build some Vikings. Vikings obviously the counter against those units. And now we're going to have these Banshees come in from this backside. Perhaps I'm going to see these supply depots. I mean, whenever I see a supply depot that also has an orbital drop, I try to take those down more quickly, as those supply 16 food each. If I can go ahead and supply lock some of those attacks right there. So supply locking my opponent. So now he's sitting at 46 over 43, and he's not going to be really able to do anything else. Now trying to take down a single siege tank. Raven is now back out, so that Raven will in fact be able to grant sight against those Banshees. Banshees are now trying to once again move back out. And once over here, we have a little bit of a fight on that high ground. Overseer is sitting over here, and I'm trying to get Gifted to shoot down that Overseer. If he can shoot down that Overseer, these groups of Banshees will in fact have no issue whatsoever trying to take down those units. So gonna go ahead and just take down those units. And now once again we have the roaches just burrowed in that ground. I'm gonna go ahead and bring over, do an orbital scan, and then just try to take down all those roaches, finishing off that batch of roaches right there. So easily taking down those particular units. I have in fact tried to use this command center. I'm setting up an orbital natural expansion on my high ground, using those mules in order to get some more minerals into my economy. And I am now trying to start producing more Marines, trying to just spend the minerals as quickly as possible. My macros with Terran still not quite as good. Bruce now sitting on 3 queens. Not quite sure why he needs 3 queens. Perhaps he doesn't have a Hydralisk den, and he was trying to use those queens as a counter towards Banshees. In the center of the map, we still have a group of Stalkers and Sentries with those Zealots as well. Nexus now being produced over here. Gonna use these Banshees to try to take down these Destructible Rocks. Destructible Rocks getting taken down fairly quickly. I also brought a group of SCVs over. These SCVs are just on auto repair, trying to repair all of these Banshees. So my Banshee army at 10, once again fully operational, fully healed back up, and will be able to continue harassing. Still have this Overlord sitting in my base. No, for some reason not gonna go ahead and for some reason I don't take it down. Army of Gifted sitting at 56 over 66. Bruce sitting at 37 over 76, still not really able to recover economy-wise, sitting on a very, very few number of drones after losing that expansion. Opponent, Willie, now sitting on a fairly large army, sitting on 1,200 minerals as well, has a large group of Vikings in order to try to counteract anything that I'm able to throw out. I want to once again use these Banshees to perhaps try to push out, and here we see that there is in fact some of these units from Willie trying to push in. So as long as Gifted is able to take down these Vikings, I will be able to take down everything else. More Marines now coming back in. I'm going to go ahead and just try to take down the rest of these units. If I can at least disrupt the army over here, taking down Willie's units, taking down those Marauders. Marauders now getting taken down, and now Gifted going to come in from behind and then disrupt any of those reinforcements. Very nicely done by Gifted. Playing as a team, just trying to split the armies up and as much as possible, taking down those Banshees, taking down those Queens. We do in fact have a single Spore Crawler. Gifted now trying to come in. 5 Vikings incoming, and I'm going to have to go ahead and move those Vikings as far as possible. But Spore Crawler offering sight, so I'm just trying to move those units away. Raven now also coming in as well. Raven does not have the Hunter Seeker missile, does have a point defense drone. I go ahead and decloak my Banshees as I realize that there's no point in draining my energy while it's currently just trying to fly away. Units now just trying to fly back, and then as I'm getting those Vikings to chase me along with that Raven, my partner is able to just go ahead and push in with these units over here, as I was able to clean up much of that ground force. A couple Marines now trying to run back out, but the Gifted should be able to just clean up the rest of this particular fight. Turrets now being brought into play, but the whole entire point was for me to really move all of these Vikings and split up that army even further. And as soon as I split up that army, I realized that the Banshees are not going to continue to work, so I go ahead and switch from a Banshee army to Marines and Siege Tanks, to coming back over here, trying to produce Marines, trying to produce Siege Tanks, and also getting Vikings of my own. Vikings and also some medevacs. In comes these Marines and these Siege Tanks, going to be able to just clean up the rest of those Zerlings with the help of Gifted, and gonna just try to take down the rest of this particular army right here. Broodlings being spawned by the destruction of any of the Zerg buildings, so that's a little bit of an added base defense. Siege Tank now just able to just start shelling out damage from long range, able to take down some of these infestation pits, and we're going to just try to finish off the rest of this army. Once again, we have Vikings up in the air. Those Vikings, however, are not going to be a good counter any longer towards the rest of this army over here. I do, in fact, have some Siege Tanks. Siege Tanks are very, very strong against Vikings when they're on the ground. So those Vikings do not want to go back into that ground mode. Auto turret now being dropped into play, trying to take down that Raven. Marines now coming in from Willie Smalls, trying to shoot down the rest of the Stalker army. But these Marines and these Siege Tanks are going to be able to finish off this whole entire main base sitting over here. I want to move these Marines over here into the center of this base. I want to make sure that if there are any Broodlings, that I'm able to really just fight them back, coming back over here. That Guardian Shield working out so well, able to push back so many of the attacks, and now Marines and Disruptors going to be pushing in over here. So Siege Tanks able to take down those hatchery, or the hatchery and the lair. Bruce is going to have to call GG in just a moment. So Willie Smalls leaves the game and Bruce leaves the game. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 2v2 replay with Gifted and me here on Kulos Review.